All right, so today's video is how to keep your house clean, even if you have an unpredictable schedule or you just suck at planning and you don't want to tell anyone that you suck at planning. So you say that your schedule is unpredictable when no, it's just you. It's an internal problem. So my name is Victoria Alexander, and I help people get their mess, clutter, and chaos under control once and for all. In this video, I'll give you 3 strategies that you can use to get your house together, even if you're an absolute hot mess, okay? So, before I actually get into the 3 strategies, I do want to lay a foundation for you so that we can kind of build on that. So, take a step back with me and think about any type of goals, right? So, whether you want to get your house clean, whether you want to lose weight, or whether you want to make sure your legs stay shaven during the wintertime. Yeah, that's a real goal. Don't judge people, okay? Like, it's not cool. It's hard to do. Um, I'm working on that. I am definitely a hairy girl during the winter. So anyway, um, when we think about our goals, usually we think about how long it will take us to get there, the things that we need to choose to make it happen, all those good things. And so something I like to think of is an ETA. And usually we think of that as your estimated time of arrival, and that works, but I want you to think a little bit deeper on it. And so we're going to think about it in terms of our energy, our time, and our attention. Okay. So these are 3 intangibles that, when in alignment, they help you to make tangible things happen. So you can create expectation based on the levels of those 3 intangibles, right? So, or think about it this way, based on your goal that you're trying to reach, you also know how to adjust those 3 things: your energy, time, and attention. So, this is really an awareness of when you have high energy versus low energy, when you have lots of free time versus your schedule is completely jam packed, and then when you're super laser focused versus a scatterbrain. And I spend 70% of my life in the scatterbrain zone. So, yeah, it's tough. Anyway, you need to be aware of these invisible factors so that you can be more, or so that as you become more intentional about getting your home together or whatever other things you're trying to do within your life, you can actually make it happen and you don't get bottlenecked or not know why things aren't working out for you necessarily, when it could be something as simple as going back to the basics and, like I said, tweaking your energy, so that could be your health or getting more rest, your time, and then attention. So the 3 strategies that we dive into, they all are the pillars that sit on top of this foundation of energy, time, and attention. So with that being said, let us go ahead and dive into our first strategy, which is strategy number 1. When you're trying to keep your house clean, yet you have an unpredictable schedule, or you are just a terrible planner. Number 1 is don't take on any extras. Okay. So, whenever you're boarding a plane, there's always going to be a capacity, right? For us to get where we're trying to get, we can only hold but so much because of number 1, just the, what is it, thermodynamics or the law of gravity and all these other universal things at play. Right? So if the plane is too heavy, we're going to have a hard time getting off the ground. We have to think about fuel economy on top of that. And then, not to mention, though, when you do have too much, sure, you may actually get up off the ground, but the chances of us, nose diving because we have too much on board are way greater. And so, with that being said, you have to respect those weight limits, that capacity limit, um, in the plane and within your life as well. So, you can only take on but so much. With that being said, if you are here and you're struggling to keep up with your house, or you don't know where to start, or the basics are just falling by the wayside, that's a sign that you don't need to take on any extras. Okay. You're that plane and you're trying to get off the runway, but you got too much stuff. All right. So don't try to take on more and go up, because you're just going to, we don't need that. With that being said, if you're having a hard time, finding time to wash your face, to vacuum, to binge watch these YouTube videos, then you're absolutely out of order. If you're also thinking about getting a pet, right? Or maybe having another child right now, or, just all sorts of things. The last thing you need is another responsibility, another, task, another job, another hobby. Like, you have got to take care of the basics. So, with that being said, a second thing I wanted to add is that This strategy is called don't take on any extras, but one of the most common ways we do that is by not guarding our time better. All right. An easy way to do that is when people are approaching you or asking you for things, and I say this all the time. So if you've ever watched anything else or we've talked, you already know I'm going to tell you stop telling people yes when they ask you to do things. And I know that can be hard, especially if you want to be the hero. You want to be everybody's hero. So I get it. It's something deep inside of you. But you can't do it when you can't even save yourself type thing, right? You'll be a much better hero for other people when you know how to be a hero for you. Ooh, I like that. That was good, right? So with that being said, when someone comes to you and they ask you to do something and you're a person that may have a hard time saying no, or how about this? You don't even have to say no, but you just need to do the more responsible thing, and you need to, actually check your schedule to make sure you have time to do it. You don't need to keep saying yes and putting yourself off. So you're saying yes to other people's things or desires or goals, helping them, but you're saying no to yourself. That's what we're trying to stop doing. So in that, you want to, or you can say things like, you know what, I'll check my schedule and I'll get back to you. And then instead of having to say no, you can just say, oh, shucks, it looks like I've got something scheduled on that day. Darn, and keep it moving, right? If they give you a hard time about it, it's probably not someone that you should be hanging out with anyway. So let's leave it at that. So, anyway, strategy number one is do not take on any extras. And then 1A, we can say is, stop saying yes. Just say, hey, I will check my schedule and get back to you. All right. All right. So, strategy number two, when you're having a hard time keeping your house together, and like I said, you're kind of just all over the place, one of the best things that you can do is learn to frame your day. And so this is all about having like an intentional start and an intentional stop. And those are micro routines. So you have absolute control over those 2 points in your day. And I understand you may be saying you don't have any control over the middle. So, okay, we'll let that just be what it is. We'll let it be chaotic, right? But you do have control over what happens in those first 2 minutes. You have first 2 minutes, the first, 10, 15 minutes of your day, as well as, the latter part when you're winding down, getting ready to go to bed. So with that being said, think about how, when we go bowling, there's bumpers to the left and the right if you're in the kiddie lane. And for some of us adults too, bumpers come in handy. So nonetheless, those bumpers are there obviously to keep you from going into the gutter, right? And with that, they also make sure that you win though, no matter what, right? So you may not get a strike, you may not knock down all the pins by the time the ball gets down there, but you're gonna hit something, right? You'll score. So having that micro routine at the top and bottom of the day kind of makes sure that you score no matter what. Because if you don't get a win during the middle of the day, you were able to get that win either first thing in the morning or when you were wrapping up at night. Okay, so think about it like that. This is how you win when you have a hard time planning, or your schedule is just unpredictable. Doesn't matter how unpredictable it is, everything has a beginning and an end, alpha and omega. I hope that's correct. All right, so back to the types of routines. Like I said, just a simple 10-minute routine. For me in the mornings, it's very, very important for me to get up, drink a little bit of water, and I put a load of laundry into the washing machine, and then I unload the dishwasher. That's if that does not happen, and let's say, the family and all this stuff is at home during the day, it's just, the day just gets bottlenecked in so many crazy ways for whatever reason, not sure why, but that is my little micro set of tasks that has to be done. Like I said, it takes less than 10 minutes to frame my day. And then from there, like I said, I close it out in the evening with, swapping those clothes out, putting them into the dryer, putting whatever away, making sure that the dirty dishes from dinner end up into the dishwasher. The dishwasher gets turned on. That's the big thing for my nighttime routine. Crazy enough, yeah. The most important thing, if nothing, making sure the dishwasher gets turned on every single night. Like that, if it's a fail, like the mission has failed if that does not happen. So anyway, find, or you can use what I just said, as inspiration for your own type of mini routine. or you can, just look around, see just what you should really be focusing on there. So you can make your own. So that was strategy number 2. Let me fix this earbud. That was strategy number 2, frame your day. Okay. Now, strategy number 3 is every day is VIP day. So, what does that mean? All right. So, when you suck at planning, or you hate planning, or you don't have time to plan, or whatever, you still need to know what needs to be done every day or weekly or monthly, right? Like, you still have bills to pay. You still have people that need to be fed. You need to feed yourself. You probably have plants that need to be watered. You have a car that needs an oil change. Like, yeah, that doesn't, just because you don't like to do it or you suck at doing it, doesn't negate the fact that you have stuff to do and you got to figure out a way to do that. So, with that, you have to stay on top of, again, what needs to be done. And you need to be kind of reframing how you see life, in a sense where you need to always have your purpose or goals in front of you. Okay. So that you should make sure that so that you can make sure that your daily actions are in alignment with your goals, so that you can make sure you're not literally spending your days doing things that don't need to be done and neglecting the things that do need to be done. Because if you continue without some sort of North Star to, guide your actions, you're definitely going to end up, I guess, switching from this video, which is how to keep your house clean when you are, a hot mess, to how do you keep your house clean when you're just extremely depressed, okay? If you do not get some sort of focus, and like I said, on those priorities and goals, you're going to be spinning your wheels, okay? Like, that's not a good place to be in, not the place you want to live your life from, all right? That's when you really start looking around and you're feeling stagnant, or things begin to start feeling very overwhelming, again, because you don't have that focus in front of you. So that's just so important. So priorities, okay? You have them in all areas of your life. For instance, when it comes to your care as a human being, let's say you may prioritize brushing your teeth and showering over other tasks, like maybe, let's say, putting on lotion. I mean, that's super important, but let's just say, like, if you really just had to choose, like, just which is more important, which is a true priority, brushing your teeth. That's definitely, definitely way more mission critical. So, with that being said, I did want to go over very quickly, when it comes to keeping your house clean, what are some of those priorities? What are the VIP tasks that you need to keep top of mind? And so, you need to distinguish between a few things first, which are, you have daily tasks, which you could consider your maintenance tasks. Then you have weekly cleaning tasks, or bi-weekly, every 2 weeks. And then you have like spring cleaning type tasks, right? Those are way different categories. So if you're in this position where, again, you have no time, you have to make the max of what you do have, there is no reason you should be in your house dusting or, watering the plants when you have 3-day-old cereal bowls in the kitchen in the sink. Like, the cinnamon toast crunch is like, it's like goopy but hard at the same time, right? Kind of like McDonald's food, how it does this really like just weird thing. If that's what's going on in your kitchen, you have no business taking care of the plants. Okay? I'm just trying to make sure I illustrate priorities. Okay? So your true priorities should always be dishes, trash, toilets, laundry. I mean, that's it. Dishes, trash, laundry. What did I say? Toilets. Yeah, toilets. All right. Sometimes people wonder why with the toilets, and it's because a lot of times you kind of get nose blind to those scents. I sound like the Febreze commercial, right? But no, keeping the toilets clean definitely helps to keep, the odors down within your house and just kind of lighten the air a bit. Don't ask me why. I don't know if it's because they're open and they're just breathing, so to speak, or whatever it may be. But I just found that in my house, keeping them clean, even when we're short on time, though, still helps things to just feel fresh and yeah, not be stanky dank. So anyway, those are the 3 strategies. Let me go back from the top. So number 1 is, don't take on any extras. Number 2, frame your day. And number three, every day is VIP day. So I really hope you enjoyed this. I definitely hope you enjoy the next video. And of course, I'd love it if you like it, subscribe, comment below. And with that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.